So I'm really looking forward to talking to you about so many different topics, from what's going on now to your career and media, because media is so important and you've been such a fixture in that world for so long and have played such a big role these last number of years by obviously being Trump on SNL. So, let's go back a little with your career, and because you've had so many hats on during your career.
I came into the building in 1980 into 30 Rock to do a soap opera, and that was still going for a bit, and then it ended.
Huh.
For me, I found it very early that I wasn't interested. I found it somewhat tedious to only think about my career in a way like me saying, this is me inside this box. I mean, that's obviously a cliche. And I only exist inside this space, and I only want to do that. And people would come to me and say, blah, blah, blah. And I'd say, oh, I don't do that, or I wouldn't do that. The perfect example is Match Game. They came to me to host a game show. And the joke was that I would play a game show host on Saturday Night Live, and now I am a game show host on network TV. Because when they first came to me, the idea was to do the show and as a one-off, because my wife and I are always looking for streams of revenue for our foundation. And I did Capital One credit card commercials for 5 years, and we gave all that money to charity. It was a lot of money. And so we're always looking for sources of income for our charity. So I do Match Game, and we give the money to charity. And then they said, oh, the numbers were really good. Would you do it again? And I thought, yeah. And we use that to fund the charity. Usually if we do a load of those shows, that money, some of that money, not all of it, but some of that money now goes into the foundation. And I think I've just spent the last, especially after you get into the movie business, and I'm doing mostly films. I make films in the 90s. I make films all through the 90s. You star in films. Some of them work, some of them don't. Your stats are very, very average. You're like a Major League Baseball player. Your stats are very average. And then you come out the other end of that. You're not young anymore. Many of the movies, maybe they weren't bombs, but they didn't really sell any tickets. So you become the movie star that falls off the movie star tree, and they make you into the marmalade of independent films. You go into independent films, and I did a lot of indie films after 2000, starring in those bit part. And then, I mean, during that time, we get to the point where I literally sit there and go, I really don't care. I mean, I really don't care what people think about what I do, and I should do this. Or Whoopi Goldberg offered my mother's charity a pile of money. I mean, the guy that owned King, who owned King Features, that ran Hollywood Squares. Whoopi was doing Hollywood Squares. That guy, Roger King from King World, they pay me this huge bag of money for my mother's charity to do Hollywood Squares. And someone wrote online, or they wrote in the paper, they wrote, another nail in Alec Baldwin's career coffin, And I thought, okay, I get it. You get it. That's what they do, is minimize. And but they wrote my mom a check for like $250,000, and I worked one weekend. So we did 5 shows on Saturday, 5 shows on Sunday. You did a bundle of 10 shows with Whoopi, and it was a ball. I had a ball. I remember when we did Match Game. I have a ball. The producer, Jennifer Mullen from Fremantle, who has since taken over the company. She's the head of the company now, based in London. But Jen was involved in these programs, and now Kim Clyde is her colleague who's in charge of the game shows now. Kim. Scott St. John, who's our producer, are on the floor. The celebrities come. We have a great time, and in my mind now, I really don't care what the optics are to people. If I'm having a good time, I'm having a good time.
Talk about reinventing career. I mean, that's wild to me. The leading man from Hunt for Red October being Donald Trump, this kind of clownish New York joke of a guy on SNL who's also became the president. Talk about reinvention. And these people that you talk about, Howard Stern, I think, is someone that just always comes to mind. I know you're a fan. Go on the show, and I love him. I've learned a lot about him doing what we do. So, I mean, he's actually, I always say that Howard Stern is my best teacher for how to talk to someone, how to interview someone, because having listened to him my whole life, there's nobody better at doing this.
Howard is one of the great, great, great interviewers. I mean, when I go do Howard, my God, I have like an open thing. I think to myself, oh, I'll be here for half an hour. An hour and a half goes by and we're still going like this. They got to kick me out of there, you know.
And the only person that fit was Al, because he kept going back to the theater and doing theater. So I contact him and he agrees to let me interview him while he's shooting Carlito's Way.
Wow.
And I said to him, what do you do when you're as gifted as you and you're working on a film? I mean, you're a huge movie star, one of the greatest movie stars that ever lived, and you're doing a movie and the other people don't hit the ball back in the same way. And I'll never forget, he goes, oh, I don't get involved in that at all, Alec. No. I just say, you know, Alec, everybody in the business is talented. You wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be in the business unless you were talented.
Howard is very similar to Letterman insofar as how much they change over the arc of their career. They have they have one kind of show, which is you know, Letterman told me on my podcast, he was running around New York doing stand-ups, you know, hither and yon. He's in front of Tad's Steaks and doing all these stand-ups and comedy bits and making fun of signs and windows. And they got a snowmobile on the roof of the building. And they have all this ornamentation and all this comedy bits on the show.